Every morning, millions of people head to work. Offices, factories, shops, hospitals, all places meant for productivity, collaboration, and growth. But behind closed doors, in whispered conversations and unread emails, something else often lingers: fear, discomfort, and silence. Gender-based harassment and bullying in the workplace. It doesn't always look violent. Sometimes it hides behind jokes, power, and hierarchy. But its damage, personal, professional, emotional, runs deep. This film explores what harassment looks like, how it persists, and how we can finally end it together. Workplace harassment is any unwelcome behavior, verbal, physical, or digital, that violates a person's dignity or creates a hostile environment. It becomes gender-based when it targets someone because of their gender, sexuality, or gender expression.
It can be comments on appearance, inappropriate touching, rumors, or exclusion from projects because someone doesn't fit the right image. It's not about flirting, it's about power.
Harassment exists on a spectrum, from subtle bias and microaggressions to outright coercion and assault. Each of these moments chips away at safety. And over time, they build a culture of fear.
You know, you look way too good to be stuck behind a desk all day. Awkward laugh. Thanks, I guess.
Many people struggle to identify the line between friendly and inappropriate behavior. But that line is defined by one word: consent. If it's unwanted, if it makes someone uncomfortable, if it's repeated after being asked to stop, it's harassment.
People often dismiss comments as harmless, but impact matters more than intent. If someone feels disrespected, that's enough reason to reevaluate behavior.
When power dynamics are involved, between managers and employees, or senior and junior staff, even a single comment can feel threatening. Gender and power often intersect. Women and gender-diverse employees remain underrepresented in leadership, and that imbalance creates space for abuse.
When someone controls promotions, projects, or salaries, they also control opportunity. Harassment becomes a way to remind others who holds the power.
Men can be targets too, especially when they defy traditional masculinity or challenge sexism. And non-binary and transgender employees often face the harshest treatment: misgendering, exclusion, and hostility.
People think harassment is just about sex. It's really about enforcing gender rules, punishing anyone who steps outside the box.
Breaking those power structures requires everyone, especially those in leadership, to take responsibility. Most victims never report harassment. Studies show that fewer than 25% of workplace incidents are officially reported. Why? Fear of not being believed, fear of retaliation, fear of being labeled difficult.
When I spoke up, they told me I was overreacting. Suddenly, I stopped getting invited to meetings. It was like I disappeared.
Silence protects the harasser, not the workplace. Each time a report is ignored, the message is clear: bad behavior has no consequences.
When someone comes forward, that's courage. Organizations must make sure that courage is met with safety, not punishment.
The cost of silence isn't just emotional, it's financial. Harassment leads to lost productivity, absenteeism, resignations, and lawsuits. The ILO estimates that gender-based harassment costs businesses billions every year in turnover and legal fees. The workplace doesn't end at the office door anymore. Messages, emails, and group chats have extended harassment into digital space.
We've seen cases where coworkers send late-night messages, share explicit memes, or comment on social media posts about appearance. Digital harassment leaves a trail, but victims often fear it'll be blamed on office humor. Jap mean trums, you're a bit yo.
Virtual meetings add new challenges. People record without consent, make sexist remarks in chat, or use private messages for advances. Respect doesn't disappear just because the screen is between us. Sometimes harassment disguises itself as management style. Constant criticism, humiliation, or assigning impossible workloads to a particular employee, especially when linked to gender, is bullying.
Bullying creates chronic stress and burnout. When it targets someone's gender, like telling a woman she's too emotional or a man he's too weak, it becomes discriminatory abuse.
Bullying thrives in environments that reward aggression and overlook empathy. But leadership built on fear doesn't inspire productivity, it erodes it. The toll of workplace harassment goes far beyond a single moment. Victims report anxiety, insomnia, depression, and even post-traumatic stress.
It's not just trauma, it's betrayal. Work is where people expect fairness and safety. When that space becomes hostile, it changes how they see themselves and their careers.
Companies also lose. Skilled employees quit, reputations crumble, and trust evaporates. A toxic culture doesn't just drive people away, it drives talent away. Most countries now have laws against workplace harassment, but policies mean nothing if they stay on paper.
Organizations must do more than post a code of conduct. They must enforce it, train employees, protect confidentiality, and act swiftly when violations occur.
A safe workplace is not just an ethical choice, it's a legal and moral obligation. One of the strongest tools against harassment is bystander intervention. When witnesses speak up, they disrupt the cycle.
If you see it, you can do 4 things: distract, delegate, document, or direct. Even small actions, like changing the subject or checking on the person later, can make a difference.
Allyship means refusing to normalize harmful behavior. When respect becomes everyone's responsibility, harassment loses power. Ending workplace harassment isn't just about punishing misconduct. It's about building cultures rooted in equality, empathy, and respect.
We decided to tie part of leadership bonuses to diversity and inclusion goals. When respect is rewarded, behavior changes.
Inclusive policies, gender-balanced leadership, flexible work arrangements, and open dialogue are key to prevention. When people feel valued for who they are, they perform better and stay longer. Progress is happening. More workers are reporting misconduct, more companies are listening, and more leaders are realizing that equality isn't optional, it's essential.
The goal isn't just punishment, it's transformation. Every story shared, every policy enforced, makes workplaces safer for the next generation.
Because when people feel safe, they innovate. When they're respected, they thrive. And when silence is replaced with accountability, everyone wins. A respectful workplace isn't built overnight. It's built conversation by conversation, policy by policy, person by person. No one should have to trade dignity for a paycheck. Together we can ensure that behind every office door there is not fear, but fairness. Not silence, but support. Not harassment, but humanity. Because dignity at work belongs to everyone.